Today, let's talk about the break in your voice. No, it's not really like that, actually. It's the difference in the transition from your chest voice to your head voice. So named because when you sing and you feel it, where you feel it is basically where they say, well, that's your chest voice or that's your head voice. Well, okay. What's important to remember is that, yeah, there is a little bit of a break, you could say, in between the two. And you do want to make that as smooth as possible. Unless you're yodeling or you're a jewel and you're in pop music. Most pop musicians don't want to hear the break. And they don't want it in jazz music and they don't want it in opera. So I was trained in the Vakai method, and so part of that is to make sure there is no differentiation between the head voice and the chest voice. It all has to kind of even up. So let's do a scale. We're going to transition from G on up from our chest voice to our head voice. And if you can definitely feel that transition, what you want to do is work on getting rid of it. So could you feel it? It's a little bit of a difference. And certainly for some people, it's very glaring. Oh yes, there it is. Now, I will tell you that with elongated breath, the more that you're able to kind of keep that breath going and have that support in your tone, you're going to find that break becomes less and less because it kind of helps out. Just like with a violinist, when that bow keeps going and you're crossing strings. See, for some people this might not make sense, but as you play violin, you have to cross strings. Well, when you're first starting out, that string crossing thing is so crazy. You can definitely tell. Plus, you're not doing long strokes on the bow. You're doing these short little strokes because that's what you can do. And the same thing with the voice. I mean, it can be difficult to go from short breaths to long breaths and from crossing over from your chest voice to your head voice. So this is going to help. And right about here for me on that G, that's when I know I'm switching over and I'm going into my head voice. My lower range is pretty significant. My upper range goes up to about there. So I don't quite get beyond that, but that's okay because it doesn't really matter. Certainly where most people like to hear jazz musicians sing, I'm fine. So I'm good with that. Now, I'm pretty happy with my range. I've got somewhere around 3 octaves, and so that's plenty for me. Certainly I'm not like the gentleman from Missouri who can do 10. That's the record right now, 10 octaves. Pretty crazy. Anyway, so, and I wouldn't even imagine to know where he switches from his chest voice to his head voice. But what's important is how to get there, how to get so that you are doing that without that break being so significant that everybody's like, oh, okay, they just switched. So first thing you want to do is make sure you have nice tonal support. You want that nice breath support underneath it. So you might want to go back to some of my other videos. I'm going to do a really quick rehash right now. And the first thing is find that diaphragm. So you want to take in a breath. Doesn't matter what kind of breath because you're just trying to find your diaphragm and you're going to go Now that you found that breath, because you can feel yourself pushing out all your air that way, then you take in a diaphragmatic breath, which is in that same location. None of this should move. Okay, then you want to keep doing that. Why do we want to use diaphragmatic breath? 30% more air plus support, yeah? You never want to see anything here being used. That's another thing. If you're using this to go higher, that's not going to help you. These are constrictor muscles. They're meant for chewing food and swallowing it, or swallowing food, and for upchucking food, and that's it. And if you're using it for screaming or anything else, you're doing it, you're hurting yourself, okay? All right, moving on. The next thing you want to do is just take in that breath, go up and down the scales, do it a few times, make sure you're supporting your breath, and do it as smoothly as possible. So a good way to do that is to do those yawn sighs. Oh. These are great ways from going from your chest voice to your head voice without hurting yourself. And if you're doing your diaphragmatic breath, which a good yawn should be using that diaphragmatic breath, you're halfway there. The more often you do this, the better. And then if you have songs that you have sung for years that you still have a problem with diaphragmatic breathing and all this other stuff, don't sing them for now because you will fall back into old habits. Find some new pieces, some new songs. Start utilizing the techniques that you're learning and implement them into those new songs. You will find that your singing and on those past songs and the new songs will improve drastically, because if we practice our old methods, we're just going to fall back into old habits. You want to use new songs with new habits, okay? It's just as easy as that, and you will get better faster that way. And I think that's it. Hey, I hope that you got something out of today's lesson. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel so that I can give you some more pointers. I think next time I've got a really good one for you, so don't miss out on my next video. And remember to go back and look at some of my old videos to help you out on your singing journey lessons, singing lessons journey. That's what I meant. Have a good day. God bless.